Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday and happy Mother's Day. We're excited to have Sylvia, who will lead us into song. All right, come on in. 1, 2, 3.
Good morning, everyone. Standing outside the door, love and mercy, wonder if there's a place there for you. You know there's peace inside, and you're still searching for
Good morning. Wow, happy Mother's Day. Can we say happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and mother figures out there? Happy Mother's Day. Let's turn to the camera in the back and wish all of the mothers watching us online and their families happy Mother's Day. And so today is a very special day in which we get to celebrate our mothers, our mother figures of our world, our mothers that we remember today, and we remember them with our memories in our hearts, and we just know that love is just an everlasting love that's still with us. So we bring that energy in our service today to celebrate the mothers of our world, but also that mother within. And one of our mothers is Myrtle Fillmore. Myrtle Fillmore is the co-founder of Unity, and she founded our movement, which is part of Unity of Oak Park today and many other churches around the world and country. And so for those of us who are new to Unity, I just want to share a little bit about Myrtle Fillmore. So Myrtle Fillmore started the movement, and I give her a lot of credit because it's because of her that we're all here today as a spiritual movement in a healing process. And that healing process was one that she was going through physically. She was going through tuberculosis. And she affirmed, after going to a workshop, a spiritual lesson, and what she got out of that is what she affirmed, and that is, I am a child of God, and I do not inherit sickness. I am a child of God, and I do not inherit sickness. Now, she kept affirming this over and over, and she believed to be true. And she affirmed it with so much feeling. That feeling inspired her physical body to be healed from tuberculosis. So she healed her body, her physical body, with her thoughts and feelings. So just imagine that, the power of prayer, the power to renew ourselves and know that we are more than the physical condition that we have to work with in our lifetime. We are that spiritual nature that does not inherit sickness because we are made whole and complete. It is our journey on this earth that we achieve that vision of wholeness, of wellness. And so Myrtle Fillmore was so excited that this worked, that this prayer worked. And so she shared it with a small group of people, and that small group of people was called Silent Unity. Now, Silent Unity is a mega movement within Unity. And this is where we send our prayers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to affirm that we are children of God and we do not inherit sickness. Even though our bodies are telling us one thing, our mind and heart is made whole. And as we affirm that wholeness, it gives us hope. It gives us inspiration. It gives us motivation, encouragement to get out of bed, to start a new day with that zest, with that vigor that we're all meant to fulfill on our planet. So let's take a moment now to fulfill the idea of prayer, to use that receptive energy of being a mother within. And let's ignite our consciousness to create the world that we want to live in. Before we do that, let's invite the people who are waiting at the door. And as we're getting settled, let's get deeper and settle into our spirit by taking a nice deep breath. Breathe in through your nose, and exhale through your mouth. Take another deep breath, and then just let it out gently. And I want to start the prayer with Myrtle Fillmore's wisdom. Sometimes we pray to a God outside of ourselves. It is the God in the midst of us that frees and heals. It is the God in the midst of us that frees and heals. And so we tap into that awareness of knowing that truth, that it is our relationship to God in the midst of us that heals and that frees us to be the whole self of what we already are. We are whole. We are complete. We are fulfilled in mind, in heart, and in expression. A more traditional way of saying that is in the name of the Father, Mother, Child, and Holy Spirit, whole expression. And so we activate that in that mind by recognizing that power existing in the midst of us as the power to transform, to heal, to regenerate the world that we want to live in. We affirm that by affirming our truth, affirming the mother figures in our world today that encourage us, that inspire us, that motivate us. And with that energy in our hearts, with that power, we say, I am whole, I am complete, and I am fulfilling God's way. I am fulfilling the absolute good within me. Not only on Mother's Day, but every day. So let's take a nice deep breath. It's a different vibration. With the confidence that that loud vibration doesn't have to be loud because it's already loud within us. And in the calmness of that loudness, we celebrate the mothers that have passed, and we remember them with that loving energy. We take a nice deep breath, and we affirm the honor and the blessing it is to have all the mothers who join us this Sunday, all the mother figures who join us this Sunday. We all have the attribute of being receptive, of being loving, of having the ideal relationship with that mother idea in our mind and our heart. And so we go our day today to lighting that power. We light our week with that power by saying, yes, I see you, I hear you, I hear me, I hear God in every step I take. And with the awareness of knowing that God is with us at all times, because that absolute good is within us, we say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Amen. And now please join us for the Daily Word with John O'Rourke.
Good morning. Happy Mother's Day. Today's Daily Word was first published on April 12th, 1990. And the Daily Word is relationships. Relationships. And the prayer intention is, my relationships unfold in unique and meaningful ways. All of us want our relationships to be loving and fulfilling. In our relationships with parents, children, spouses, friends, and co-workers, we give expression to God's love. In all relationships, we take responsibility for our own happiness. Being in a positive relationship with another does not bring an end to individual growth. No person can possibly meet all the needs of another. Most important, to have loving relationships, we must accept and love ourselves as the unique creations of God that we are. This is the teaching we receive from Jesus. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. When we are able to love ourselves, we are better able to be open channels for divine love in all our relationships. When we love ourselves and others, we celebrate the uniqueness of God's creations. We learn and grow in our relationships. We love and we are loved. And from the Gospel according to Mark, chapter 12, verse 31, Jesus said, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself." The daily word for today is relationships.
This is for you, Mama. There's a hero. If you look inside your heart, you don't have to be afraid of what you are. There's an answer if you reach into your soul, and the sorrow that you know will melt away. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel the hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you. It's a long road when you face the world alone. No one reaches out a hand for you to hold. You can find love if you search within yourself, and the emptiness you felt will disappear. And then here comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel the hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you. Lord knows dreamers hard to follow, but don't let anyone tear them away. Hold on, there will be tomorrow. In time, you find a way. When the hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel the hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you. That a hero lies in you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we hear it again for Sylvia and for Juan Lorenz and Diego? Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so the hero does lie within us, and we celebrate our mothers who help us to remember that, our mother figures. And I want to start with a question today. How many of us grew up being our mother's favorite? Raise your hand. All right. Well, we bless you today, right? But what about all the other people who were not your favorite, were not your mom's favorite? Raise your hand. All right, so we bless you for having the understanding heart to accept that you're not the favorite, right? Or maybe we're still working with that today, and that's okay. And that's okay. So here's a couple of greeting letters that were written from the point of view of a child's favorite to their mother. And so bear with me. So the first one is, Dear Mom, sorry about all your children. At least you have me. From your favorite child, it's me, in case you forgot. Second letter. Dear Mom, Happy Mother's Day. You have failed miserably with my siblings, but you got it spot on with me. Thank you. Third letter. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Happy Mother's Day from your second child and your favorite. So what's powerful about these different, and by the way, I did not write these cards. I can see the bubbles already forming. They're not written from me. It was from a mother's blog, and I just thought they were funny since I'm not the favorite, and it just brings humor. So each of us has a very individual way of celebrating Mother's Day. Some of us are in that space where we celebrate our mothers and all of our mother figures. And then there's others who are remembering our mothers because we have lost our mothers. And then there's others that are recognizing today as a way that they get triggered. They get triggered by hearing Happy Mother's Day or mother, even the word mother. And maybe it's because they didn't grow up with the ideal mom, the ideal relationship of being a mother. And so when we think about the various ways of celebrating and honoring today, Mother's Day, it's ultimately a day for us to be aware of how we connect with our thoughts and feelings. How do we connect with our thoughts and feelings about the word mother, about Mother's Day? And the reason why this is important, not just for a lesson for today, but a lesson for every day, is that the way we think and feel about a certain thing inspires us, encourages us, motivates us. Sometimes we see it in our behavior. Like, what is our behavior today? Are we in a somber way? Are we celebrating today? Are we angry at the world? And maybe it's because we don't like the word mother or being around that energy. So here's a powerful example of why it's important to understand not just the importance of Mother's Day, but the importance of shaping our behavior, our attitude, using our thoughts and feelings. And in order for this to work and for us to understand it together as a lesson, we need to put it into practice right now. So we're going to put it into practice right now. And just not to scare everyone, we have to be present when we do this exercise. So if we're thinking about our grocery list as I'm speaking, it's not going to work. Or if we're thinking about that mimosa we're going to enjoy right after the service, it's not going to work either. You might have to rewind the YouTube video to actually know what the lesson's about. And so here is the lesson of how our thoughts, our feelings, shape our behavior and our attitude. Are you guys ready? Yeah. So let's take a nice deep breath. And just exhale. So we're going to start with thought. So the thought is, we're going to honor a thought that we can all relate to. And that thought is Mother Nature. All right? We can connect with Mother Nature. And the meaning behind that thought is that Mother Nature perhaps is the environment. Are we on the same page? Okay, so Mother Nature is the environment. So with the environment, other thoughts that go with that is, okay, maybe we're honoring Mother Nature because we're able to breathe air, we're able to drink water, we're able to see the beauty of the world, we're able to nourish our bodies with food. And so all those thoughts are connected to that one thought. Are we still here? Take another deep breath. So how does thought connect to feeling? Well, in order for us to think about a feeling, we have to think about experiences that maybe we've had so that we know what feelings to attach to that thought. So we're going to create some experiences collectively to connect with that thought using our imagination. So now imagine being a child. Say you're like 5 years old, similar to Isabel, who's in the back right there. And so when we're 5 years old, we're outside and we're playing tag fearlessly, and we're filling up our lungs with fresh air that Mother Nature provides. And it makes us smile from ear to ear because we can run fast. We can run with our friends. Now grab that feeling and put it into the thought. Here's another image. Imagine you've experienced a week that's been raining every day. And this is the first day the sun is out, and you can see it through your window. You see a little butterfly fly to the window. Yes. You see a little bird go across the window. Maybe it's a cardinal. Then you go outside and you see this crazy squirrel run around with a peanut in its mouth. Put that feeling with the thought of Mother Nature. Here's the third feeling, third experience. All right, well, let's think about the time where eating a salad, and you take the time to remember, where did this salad came from? Someone had to plant it, right? Someone had to nourish it with water. Or maybe it was Mother Nature that poured rain to nourish that salad that you're eating. Add that feeling to your thought of Mother Nature. So when we add all of those feelings into that thought, does it make you feel more alive? Yeah. Does it awaken you? Yeah. Does it make you feel more loving? Yeah. Appreciative? Yeah. More gratitude? Yeah. More connected? Yeah. More connected to your God being? Yes. So what we have done is we have awakened ourselves in the present moment. We have awakened ourselves with our thoughts and feelings. Give yourselves a hand. So you have just demonstrated the third unity principle. We create our experiences to be more alive, more awake, more appreciative, more connected with our thoughts and feelings. And we could do that anytime. You're not outside right now, but you did that with the images in your mind. You did that with your thoughts. You did that with your feelings. Now that is a powerful tool. Why? Because when we're praying, we're thinking, but what if we add that feeling? Then your prayers are more alive, they're more awakened, they're more embodied. Yes, I can walk out that door and feel confident about myself. What about your relationships? Maybe we have all these thoughts about the relationships that we have. But imagine if we add the feeling part to it. Imagine how alive, how awakened, how inspired you will be, how inspired the people you're with will be. Now, if you're thinking about that goal, that intention, that you're waiting for it to manifest, and maybe we have done so much thinking about how to do this that we forgot the feeling part. And maybe it's the feeling part that we need to feel more awake, more alive, like you just did 3 seconds ago. So now, the power behind the third unity principle. It's a teaching, it's a practice. Some days we're really good at it. Some days we could be a little bit better so that we too can feel like that favorite child, right? And it all comes with balancing our thoughts and feelings, creating the right relationship. Sometimes when we're overthinking, it's hard for us to tap into that feeling nature. So we overanalyze everything. And that overanalyzing sounds like fear or doubt or worry. And sometimes when our feeling nature is heightened, it's hard for us to think clearly. For example, when we're triggered, it's hard for us to access that better wisdom that is within us because we're too angry. We take everything personally, right? Even the smallest little thing. And so that's why it's important for us to find the right balance so that we can create an experience that is alive, that's awake, that's more present. If we can see the PowerPoint slide. So our relationship with our thoughts and feelings matter because it shapes and dictates our behavior. For example, have you ever had the experience or know somebody who had the experience? I'm pretty sure it's ourselves, where you want a trusting relationship. How many of us want trusting relationships, right? We all do. However, when we start a new relationship, if we're suspicious of that person, like, are they being nice to me because they want something, right? That is suspicious. So suspicious thoughts will create more doubt, more worry. If we want a trustworthy relationship, well, then we have to risk and go in it with trust. We have to risk it. It takes a risk. It takes courage to trust. Doesn't it take courage to trust? Yeah. Especially if you really like the person, right? You're like, right? You have to kind of open yourself up, and that makes you feel vulnerable, makes you feel exposed a little bit. And so it's easier for us to just be in that suspicious, because then we can just tap our foot, right, carefully. We don't have to put our whole selves in there. And so that's the reason why it's important to have a relationship where our thoughts and feelings are in the same wavelength. Because if you're not feeling good, then what kind of thoughts are we putting out there, right? If we're not thinking good, how are we feeling, right? And if that doesn't match, then our behavior is not going to match as how we envision it. And so in New Thoughts and in Unity, thought usually represents the father, the thought, the conception, the beginning of an idea. The feeling nature is the loving, receptive energy, the environment in which thoughts can thrive in. And so when we have both, when we master both, we're able to have harmonious relationships where we feel connected, complete, awake, and alive. And the reason this is important is because it's stated in Scripture. Jesus spoke to his apostles and says, "No one pours new wine into old wineskins. No one pours new wine into old wineskins." And so what does that mean? Well, let's demonstrate it right now. I want everyone to clench one of their fists. Yes. Now imagine pouring water into that fist. How much water are you going to be able to get? Right? So an old wineskin tightens up because it's ripe, like a grape into a raisin, right? And so it's hard to get liquid and water in there. And so that old wineskin's not going to serve us for new ideas. Now open up your hand and imagine that is a new wineskin. So now you have the ability to catch some water, catch some new ideas, thoughts, and feelings. And so what this means for us is that if we're feeling suspicious, if that is our feeling, then we're not going to be able to have trust in our lives or in our relationships because we're already thinking and knowing the outcome. So we have to shift by thinking of creating a new wineskin so that new thoughts can emerge. So how do we do that? How do we create a new wineskin so that new thoughts can thrive in? Well, one, if that environment is our feeling nature, then we have to look at our feelings. If we want a new wineskin for new ideas to grow in, we have to look at our feelings. Oftentimes in Unity, we say, if you want to change your life, look at your thoughts. That is true. But sometimes we have to look at our feelings. We have to process our feelings so that if we feel better, we can think better. So sometimes we have to look at our feelings a little bit deeper. Our feeling nature is what's going to help us make those thoughts more alive, more awakened. So now, how can we apply this in our lives so that we're not in that space where we're resentful, not trusting? How can we create that in our lives? According to HeartMath Institute, which is a scientific research organization, they do research of how the brain connects to the heart. And through their studies, in which I had the privilege to go to be part of, they demonstrated that when we are connected to feelings of empathy, of understanding and love, then we have access to the highest part of our brain that does the best creative thinking. And so if science proves that, and if Myrtle Fillmore proves that we can transform our lives with our thoughts and feelings, well, why not put it into practice? By exploring our feelings, processing your feelings. And I know sometimes you don't want to process your feelings, right? I've been there. I just like to be miserable. I like to be miserable for a while. Yeah. Can you relate to that? Yeah. It makes you feel good, right? But that misery is not going to get you that trusting relationship. It's not going to get you the success you're seeking, the opportunities you're seeking. In the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 2, the Apostle Paul told his friends in Rome, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by renewing your minds." I'll say that again. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by renewing your mind. And so that's great wisdom, because we go through life, we have great experiences, we have experiences that trigger us, or we seek guidance, or we're seeking direction. And so what the Apostle Paul is affirming is, don't be triggered by the outside world. Go within your mind. Renew it. And as we've been learning, with your thoughts and feelings, because your thoughts and feelings shapes your attitudes and behaviors that draws all the good that you're seeking. And so now let's look deeper into this idea. If we're seeking success, then we have to create the environment for success to grow in. We have to create the feelings for success to grow in. If you're seeking happiness and joy, we have to create the feelings that draws those feelings you're seeking. Otherwise, we're going to be miserable, which is okay, but it's not going to get you the results that you're ultimately seeking. And so here's a personal example. And I'm sharing the personal example so that you can find your own example of how to create a new wineskin through your own journey, your own spiritual journey? How can you shift your thoughts and feelings to get the behavior within you so that you can have the outer manifestation that you're seeking? And so here's a question that I often get asked when you first meet me. And the question is, when did you decide you wanted to be a minister? When did you decide you wanted to be a minister? And maybe some of us here have asked me that, right? And so the reason I'm going to share this journey is so that you can see how thoughts and feelings came into the wineskin to create the idea and manifestation of what I am today. And so back in the day, I was living in New York, and I was an artist, and I was a teacher of all sorts. My DNA is being a teacher and being an artist. And so I went to this spiritual center, Unity of New York, and I loved the minister. He had empowering messages because he, too, was an artist. And so I can relate to all his messages because he spoke from that paradigm, from being an artist. So I was drawn to all his lessons. I was there every Sunday for years as a congregant. And then one day, I hear that he's leaving. Oh, I am devastated. I go back to my old wineskin, my old beliefs, and I have a pity party. I'm like, how dare him leave? No one told me he was leaving. I cannot believe I was the last one to find out. And I've been coming to this church for years. I was hurt. I felt like a victim. So that's an old wineskin, and maybe that came from my upbringing, right? Of feeling left out, but I brought it into that moment. So that misery was not going to create the person I am today. And so, of course, like any good Unity student, I prayed and I meditated, because that's what I was told to do, right? That would regenerate my mind, that would transform. And so I prayed and meditated, and weeks went on. I was still in misery. However, eventually, this new thought came up. Well, if no one can teach me unity, I am going to teach unity. And so, because I was already a teacher, that was a comfortable idea. I was like, no problem, I can do this. So I go to Unity Village, and I sign up to be a licensed Unity teacher. And big shout out for all the licensed Unity teachers out there. I know Ron is one of them, so thank you for being a great example. And so I'm there, and I have the idea, right? I'm going to be a licensed Unity teacher. And because my environment in my mind is excited, I'm so excited that I get to answer that question, that void of not having a minister. I was like, wow, I have an answer. I was excited that when I was signing up for classes and registration forms, I kept hearing this voice, this inner feeling. And it's a feeling that most mothers receive, that intuitively feeling, and that we all have. And as I signed the forms, that voice was, you are the minister you're seeking. You are the minister you are seeking. And so I changed the forms from being a licensed Unity teacher, being comfortable, to doing something scary and unfamiliar. And so I signed away to become a minister. So here I am. So the power of this story continues, because now I'm more aware of people who've been in my situation. I'm able to recognize that in others. So when I see people who are pursuing a licensed Unity teacher, I'm like, wait a minute, have you tried this? Or have you thought about this? And luckily, I have inspired other people to become ministers. So that just gives me great hope for our movement, because I know there's going to be more love, more excitement, more wonder in our world. And that makes me more fulfilled. So I'm sharing this story because it's a story that we can connect to in our own life. We can take a situation that we're in, a disappointment we're in. We may feel that misery, and it's okay, because it comforts us for a little while. But then, through prayer and meditation, you have the process that will lead you to creating a new wineskin, a new environment for your ideas to flourish, to manifest. And you're probably saying, well, I don't know if I'm praying right. I don't know how to pray, right? And I've been in that situation too. Like, I don't know if I'm praying right because nothing really is happening. I pray every day. So the way to pray that's easy for us to understand is first, develop a relationship with God. What is your relationship with God? And you're probably thinking, well, I didn't grow up with the God within. I grew up with the God out there, and that's okay too. What is your relationship with God? Start there. In unity, when we affirm the words I am, in those two words, what we're affirming is our relationship with God. I am, period. I am, period. Can we say that together? I am, period. Yes. And what follows after your I am, that is the courage that it takes us to understand if we really believe in that oneness. So if you're saying, I am miserable, well then that's what you're affirming to be your relationship with God. If you affirm, I am happy, that's your definition of your oneness with God. And God is everywhere, right? Not just within, it's everywhere. So I am happy relates to how I see myself, how I see others, how I see my behavior shaping the world around me. That is your relationship with God. However, here's the takeaway. Okay, when we say I am happy, that's a thought. That's a thought. We have to create the environment. If we're not feeling happy, I mean, if we say Happy Mother's Day, but I'm not feeling happy, then I don't have that relationship. And it's okay if I'm not happy. However, if you're willing to achieve happiness that day or in that moment, then the process is develop that relationship by creating the environment. So here's the environment. And I wrote an example. So I'm going to use a different example. So here's the thought. So let's go back to the beginning of the lesson. The thought is, I am receptive, period. Okay, that doesn't mean anything. I am receptive to what? Like, how can I connect to that thought? So we have to create the experience. So what if we create the experience by adding the feeling? I am receptive because I clear the way with love. I am receptive because I clear the way with love. Does that have more power? More energy? Can you connect to that a little bit more? Yeah, because you added the experience, you added the feeling. All right? Sometimes we do affirmations, and we're like, well, I do affirmations all the time, but I just don't believe that or don't feel that. Well, it's because you have to connect with it with an experience. You have to connect with it with your feelings. If you're not connecting with your feelings, then you're not going to believe anything you're saying. I mean, it's beautiful words. Like we get these cards, right, on our seats. And these are great affirmations for you to share with others. So let's grab the one we have today. And it says, I am receptive because my good clears the way. My path is clear, and I am ready to prosper more good now. Now, when you hear those words, hear it in your mind, but then add your own feeling. What is your feeling? So let's explore that right now. Let's read it together and add your feeling. I am receptive because my good clears the way. My path is clear, and I am ready to prosper more good now. Now, sometimes we're not feeling that for ourselves. Have somebody else read that to you. Maybe it'll resonate better, right? Or maybe you find somebody who's not having a sunny day. What if you read them something kind and nice like that? It might jumpstart their day. It might transform and renew their mind, but also yours, because you helped them recognize that within themselves. And so your homework today and the week is to be in touch with your feeling nature, with your mother ability to create the environment in your mind that will flourish your ideas, your dreams, your goals into manifestation. Does that sound like a good idea? Yeah. Yes? Are you guys ready? Yes. All right. You can report to me next week. Okay. All right. So let's take a moment now as we welcome one of our greatest mothers of our community, Lindsay Ambrose, to do our meditation.
Let us begin to center ourselves for our meditation practice with a few deep breaths. I invite you to close your eyes, allow your body to relax, and take a big deep breath in and release out. Another big deep breath in and release out. As we align our awareness to this presence, we may begin to notice our thoughts. And as we notice, we may release them. We may notice anything we're feeling in our body, and know we too can release that. As we acknowledge the thoughts we think, the feelings that we have, it softens it. And we can shift our awareness to that presence within us. With every breath, we realign with that love, presence, and wholeness. We can center ourselves in that ever-present energy that is a higher frequency, harmonizing, healing, and renewing. We open our mind, cleanse our thoughts, and awaken our hearts. With just a shift of awareness, we can return to heart center. And as we bring that gentle awareness now, we can affirm, I am in alignment. I am at peace. I am receptive. In the stillness, with that shift of awareness, we realize that you too are a thread in the tapestry of life, an ever evolving, and you can tap back into it as you look around and see nature flowing, evolving, you too are a thread. And the more that you can focus your awareness, you tap into it, knowing that you too are in alignment, receptive, and open to that divine clarity, wisdom, and inspiration. And with that, we begin to bring our awareness back to this space. We open our eyes and know too that we are guided, we are loved, and that energy flows where our attention goes. And with that, we open our eyes and begin to feel that love, that loving energy, and know that we can spread that and be in alignment with it. So let us now prepare for the offertory.
Good morning. My name is Kucha, and I am a member of the Board of Trustees for the church here. And I'm here today to talk a little bit about how we use what you give us. So Unity, we are self-funded spiritual community. Your offerings help us continue to make a difference so that we can come together at service each week, so we can pay for the operations of the church and the Sunday team, support our ministry, partners. We provide our partners with our community, within our community, with a safe place where they too can live their best potential. We hope that you're living your best potential. We're definitely trying to, although, as Reverend said, sometimes we forget. But anyway, know your contributions matter to keep this community and our dreams alive. We do have big dreams, and just making this that special place that you feel like being in every Sunday. I hope you feel like I feel like being here. I come here to be renewed. There are many ways you can give. You can use the Support Unity button on our website. You can text a donation to 708-980-0073 from your phone, or you can place a check or cash in the baskets or at the door, and of course, you can mail us a check anytime, 405 North Euclid, Oak Park. Okay. We are so grateful for your financial contributions in addition to your donations of time and talent, which allow our ministry mission to grow and thrive. Your donations of time and talent are just as important as your donations of cash, because it's your presence makes this place have that feeling that draws us in. You did hear the minister earlier. We got to put that emotion behind it, right? And so, so when you come, when you say, yeah, I want to be here just a little bit more, your place. What do I give for? I give for the children. I give to have this space to come in and pray, so that when I come here, it'll be warm in the winter and cool in the summer. So when I come here and I see the smiling faces and some of the sleepy faces too, I get lit up inside, because we are here to make a joyful noise. I have to throw that in because we all like to sing together. but we make a joyful noise, and hopefully we're making each other feel better. So when you go out, when you leave here today, you might be like me. My mother has passed on. I'm going to stop by the cemetery before I go home. But it's not sad, because when I think about my mother, all of the thoughts make me feel good and loved and whole. And that's what your donations of time help us do to this space, make us feel welcome and whole. But anyway, I talk too much. I'm here, and the music has told me. So, why don't you prepare your offerings while the music is playing? And the chaplains and board members are going to come up. And if you want to drop anything in their baskets, please feel free. As I said, we run this place on donations. We are blessed by your presence, and I hope you'll sing this with us.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful.
Remember, our chaplains, these are our chaplains, they're here and available to pray with you and support you before the service and after the service. There's a prayer on Monday nights online. I'm not going to start adding. Okay, get to the point. Let us affirm our offertory prayer together as we bless all of the prayers in our hearts and the service we give to make our community operate, and financial offerings you contribute that make our community thrive. And just, okay, well, if it's not up there, some of you know it. Divine love expressing as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and all that I am. And so it is. Amen. And
I know there are many women here who are superwoman. Everywhere I'm turning, nothing seems complete. Standing and I'm searching for the better part of me. I hang my head from sorrow, state of humanity, weighted on my shoulders. son. And all my sisters coming together say, yes, I will. Yes, I can. Yes, I am. I want to hear you. Good woman. I am. Yes, I am. Still when I'm putting my best, when I answer the test, I am superwoman. Yes, I am. When I'm breaking down, I can feel fine. 'Cause I start to get weak. 'Cause no one knows me underneath this clothes. I can fly. We can fly. I am. Can I hear you? Yes, I am. One more time. Yes, I am. I am. Yes, I am. Yes, you are. Still am. Yes, I am. Yes, you are. 'Cause I am. Yes, I am. Yes, you are. Yes, we are. 'Cause I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am superwoman. We all are. You are superwoman. We all are. Thank you.
One more time for Sylvia, Juan, and Diego. Thank you so much for that beautiful Mother's Day tribute to all the super women here. My name is Janine, and I'd like to remind you that a great way to find out what is happening here at Unity of Oak Park and to be engaged is by visiting our website at unityoakpark.org. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and sign up for our newsletter from our website. You can also watch the slides on the screens before and after the service, or visit the Community Hub table after service for more information and to pick up flyers. Please share them. We're always looking for volunteers, especially for Sunday service. You can sign up from the Sign Up Juniors link on our website for slots and times that work for you. You can also sign up to volunteer at the Community Hub table after service, during fellowship, or you may contact Ron Johnson standing over there in the door. He'd be happy to sign you up. It's my pleasure to now introduce our youth who have something special they would like to share with us. Let's welcome them.
Happy Mother's Day, everyone. There it is. All right.
Today we're celebrating Mother's Day, and we have an acrostic poem.
M is for what?
M is for brave.
Mighty.
M is for mighty.
O is for open. O is for open.
And T is for terrific.
H is for honoring.
H is for honoring. E is for enthusiastic. R is for real. S is for super.
And that spells mothers. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. Thank you.
The mothers, the flowers.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to pass out some flowers to the mothers. Come back. The flowers are right here. Right here. Yeah, this guy. Like that. Go give that to a mother. Anybody, any mother.
Any mother.
Come on.
We're all mothers here.
Give it to a mother. You need some more?
Thank you so much. Here are a few exciting events to check out. The Mental and Relational Health Workshop, which will have education and tips for children, teens, parents, families, and couples, will be held next Sunday, May 21st, after service at 11:30 a.m., and will be presented by our community partner, Growth Collective. The music department is looking for volunteers to form a committee to help launch a summer music concert on the Line event. A team kickoff meeting will be held next Sunday, May 21st, right after service at 11 a.m. The weekly prayer and meditation group meets over Zoom on Mondays at 7:30 p.m. Drop in for our midweek booths with meditation and metaphysical teachings this Wednesday, May 17th at 6:30 p.m. Enjoy a relaxing evening of meditation accompanied by soothing sounds, dialogue, and sharing of spiritual wisdom to help you connect within and with others with more intention and meaning. The weekly Presence Circle for parents and caregivers meets on Thursday evenings at 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Take time for you with stillness, mindfulness, meditation, listening, and sharing with others in a safe, sacred space. Of course, we would like to bless our wonderful youth and our youth directors, Chris Mamble and Baba Tony Brown. Please rise and join us for the prayer of protection, followed by the peace song as we conclude the service. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Amen.